Hello, everyone. It's Sunday once again. Oh my God, did you all enjoy that extra hour of sleep today? I mean, it's only in the UK actually, not in the Manila or not in I don't know in America whether they do that or not. But yeah, today I was on my way back. I went to see the Soup Dragons in Birmingham last night, and then on my way back on the bus to Stockport, I actually waited and watched the time to sort like change from 1:59 to 1 a.m. And I thought, oh my God, that was fascinating. So, but anyways, so that was really good. And I just saw that my guest has disappeared. I hope I hope he'll be back soon. But yeah, he is disappeared. Oh yeah, he's back. But yeah, okay. So anyways, so I'm really excited about today because our drummer guest is coming to us live all the way from Manila. And I saw him and his band like 8 years ago when I was on holiday in Manila, and they're absolutely amazing. So when I started to do Ask the Drummer podcast and thought of sort of like all the drummers I would like to have on the show, I thought he would be a great sort of like guest on it. So anyways, I'm gonna bring him on now. So my dear friends, all the way from Manila, please welcome Rocky Collado. Yeah.
Hi guys,
Yeah,
so
kumusta?
great. This is so great. Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate this. Ask the Drummer podcast. Thank you so much, Anna. I really appreciate being here.
It's me that I should thank you. I thank you so much for
Any
saying yes. So,
anytime anyone wants to talk about drumming, I'm there.
um, so how are you?
Doing great, doing great. I'm here in Manila, 10 p.m. Uh, we just released a single, an original single yesterday, last night with other bands like Orange and Lemons, and it was fun. It was really great. It was in 70s Bistro here in QC, so
Wow.
it was yeah.
Yeah, that's where I saw you in the Bloomfields at 70s
Oh
Bistro.
yeah.
That was like 8 years ago. It was a long time ago.
I think the audio is going. Like I can't really hear you.
Is it? You can't hear me?
I
Or
mean I can. It's just really low. I don't know how to turn it up.
maybe just like the is your what do you call the volume? Is it all max? Is it all up? Maximum volume or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Yeah. I guess so. I can hear you. I can hear you. It's just it's really so yeah. Anyway, yeah. So yesterday we had a gig and it was fun and in 70s, we met there. When did we meet again there?
2015.
2015, right?
Yeah, that was
That's
8 years
cool.
ago. And I remember Clem from Orange and Lemons. He was there as well.
Yeah.
And Cookie Chua from
Oh
Colorado.
wait, was this a Beatles night?
I think so. Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was.
because that yes, yeah. When Clem and Cookie Chewer were there, yeah, that was the Beatles night. It's
Yeah,
one of the good ones actually.
yeah. So, well, at the time, I didn't know that I'm gonna be so like doing this kind of podcast. But I've always been fascinated with drummers, and then when I was sort of like thinking of all the drummers that I would like to have on the show, because I've never really forgotten about the Bloomfields. I mean, you're absolutely amazing. So I thought, well, I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna ask Rocky. So, but anyways, so welcome to Ask the Drummer. Episode 99 is all about you,
Ooh,
Rocky
okay.
Collado. Yeah. So Rocky, I mean, that's obviously a nickname, right?
Yeah, it
What's
is.
do you mind telling us your
The story?
real
What's the story behind the
name?
nickname?
Yeah.
Um, no, well, it has nothing to do with the music, that's for sure. Funny because like when I was born, it was 1985, and I think the movie came out, the boxer
Okay.
Rocky Balboa, and for whatever reason, my cousins would just call me that because I don't know. I guess they just thought it was cool. It just sort of stuck. And the thing
Yeah.
about names is when you get called that. every day of your life, it's sort of like that becomes you, your identity. And so I liked my nickname better than my real name, and so like I just had people call me that. And finally, and funny enough, like when I turned 10, I become a drummer. So I guess it works out.
Yeah, that's like, do you mind telling us what your real name?
It's Ronald, actually.
Oh,
Ronald
Ronald.
Collado.
Yeah. Well, is that because you looked a bit like Sylvester Stallone, or
No,
or did you
no, it had
write?
nothing to do with anything. It was just a random thing. It was
Just around?
completely random.
Yeah, but where are the Collados from?
Ilocos, actually.
Right.
Both my parents are from Ilocos, Norte
Yeah.
and Sur. So it's this it's province up in the northern parts of the Philippines. Um, and but I was born and raised in Manila.
Right. And are you from a musical family as well? Are they any of your like parents are
They all like to sing. Um, I've had it, but I wouldn't say like we were completely musically um, inclined because my mom is a doctor and my
Oh,
dad is also in the medical field. So no, not really musical. We none of them were like professional musicians.
yeah, yeah. But us Filipinos, we do love to sing.
Oh
We do
yeah,
love our karaoke, and we do love to dance.
Magic Sing is huge.
Yeah, that's right. Um, I mean, you're obviously younger, a lot younger than me, and I'm just wondering, what was Manila like for you when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, it was the '90s. It was the '90s and the early 2000s. Being in a band around that time in Manila is like one of the coolest things you can do because the band scene was really huge. Um, I remember the first gig I went out to see was Eraserheads in 70s
Oh,
Bistro. It was back in like the late '90s. It's
oh
pretty
wow.
cool actually, and that's really sort of how I got into like playing because all my friends were into it too, and we just sort of just put up a band and it we've been doing it ever since. Actually, I still play with my high school friends,
So,
so we're
so
still in the same band.
The Bloomfields are actually your first band. You that is that your
Bloomfield,
first?
yeah. Bloomfield, like I was there for every version of it. Let's just put it that way. I
So
was there for every update. I was there.
yeah, because I did sort of like look it up on Wikipedia, and actually says that there's several lineup changes for the
Well,
Bloomfields.
yeah, there've been a lot of lineup changes. The official ones, there's already been two lineup changes, but the core members, which would be me, my our lead guitarist, and our bassist, that's
Yeah,
still
you're still
that's still
together.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can I just ask, what got you into drumming? Is that did you see someone play the drums and you thought, oh my god, that's so good, I want to do that myself?
No, no, no. Here's the story. Um, so like I said, like we're not all. My family wasn't like we weren't professional musicians, but they did like to play music, and my cousins uh, they were forming a band because it was my Lola's my grandma's 50th anniversary wedding anniversary. So my
Oh,
grandparents were having that, and so they
yeah.
wanted to play maybe like 2 3 songs and learn just like play any 2 3
Any
songs that
song?
we can do, but they didn't have a drummer. Okay, they all knew how to play guitars, they could sing, but they had no drummer. So I was 10 years old. They asked me, "What about you learn how to play?" Because what else am I gonna do? Right? I wasn't gonna perform anything. So okay, I learned how to play the drums. I learned 2 songs, and since then I've been playing ever
Oh
since.
wow. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Did you have proper drumming lessons?
Yes.
Or
I did have formal lessons for about a year and a half. Um, and those lessons were fun. Like those were one of the best times of my life because I picked up, obviously being 10, 11, you're a sponge and you're just picking it up so quickly. And in those years, in those 2 years, I sort of just learned as much as I could from my instructor. So my parents hired a guy to come to our house and play drums, teach me how to play the drums. And what we started out with were Ventures, songs by the Ventures.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
like rock and roll, surf music, like
Hawaii Five O. Is
there
it
you
Hawaii
go, there you go, yeah,
Five
stuff
O?
like that. So I really got my chops
Okay. Yeah.
from doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I didn't start out with like pop songs or nothing. Like we went straight for like Ventures and stuff, and that was
Oh,
fun.
oh, that's good. So you had your own drum kit at home. And
Yeah, I
what about
did.
the neighbors? Were the neighbors so like,
The
did they,
neighbors? Well,
yeah, did
it's
they so
always
like,
the drummer's problem, isn't it?
no.
It's always, well, there we had to implement schedules, practice schedules, 11 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's it. You couldn't play any other time. So there was a window.
Alright. So they were okay with that then. They were okay with so like you playing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um. So, how old were you when you actually started the Bloomfields?
When I what?
When you started the Bloomfields, were you're
Oh,
one of the founding
Bloomfields.
members, or because on Wikipedia it actually said the founding members are like the what are they called, Lozano? No, Lozano
Yeah, the
brothers.
Lozanos. Well,
Yeah.
JJ and I were friends back in high school. Actually, back in grade school. Um, in fifth grade, brought my drum set for show and tell. And JJ was my classmate then, and he was super into music. He could play any song, even at fifth grade. So we sort of just got together and started playing music. And sometime around high school, we started forming like a legit band, started playing real songs, and we called it Bloomfield. And
And
that
what did
was
the
the
name?
inception of it. But professionally, we started getting paid as a band somewhere around 2004, and we got like really low rates, what we call piso rate. So you get 1 peso, well, not 1 peso, 1K, 1,000 per head, right? To
Oh,
play
huh?
all night long, right? I don't. How much is that in pounds?
Well, in the 90s,
No.
it's like every pound is like 100 pesos, but it's not anymore. I think now it's all gone down to like 70 to a pound, so it's not as
Okay,
much anymore. But
so I got 1,000 pesos. Like that
yeah,
was my first salary, and I was happy about that. Like, yeah, I got something for playing music.
yeah,
So
yeah. Where did the name the Bloomfields come from?
just a random thing. So my bandmate, he was in um he was somewhere in the States. He was somewhere in LA in some suburb, and he saw Bloomfield Avenue, and he just had a feeling about it. And
And yeah,
when
yeah,
among all the names that we tried out, this was the one that sticks the most for some reason because it fit not just the music we used to play, but sort of the vibe that we were going for, I guess. Like everyone had like really edgy names, and
yeah.
we didn't want to go into the back in the day anyway. That was sort of the trend. Uh, Everyone had like really spicy and edgy names, and we didn't want to go with that. So like we said, oh, Bluefields. That sticks out.
Yeah, yeah. So, they're the founding members, the Lozanos, the Lozano brothers. So when they left, why did you keep the name the Bloomfields? Because I mean, they could have taken it themselves. They could have sort of like called themselves. Because according to Wikipedia, they actually formed their own band when they
Yeah,
left the
they did.
Bloomfields. Um, so the rest of you so like kept the name the Bloomfields, and
Yeah,
they
we
had
did.
a different name. So what
Um,
happened there?
what happened was they left, and um, we still had fans, we still had gigs, we still had commitments, we still had um, signed contracts and all of that. We had to keep that going, and
Right.
also we were technically a corporation before they left. So the name stuck with us because we were still the majority, and we really wanted to keep the name because it was as much ours as it was theirs, but
Yeah.
they were the ones who wanted to leave. So we're not the ones leaving. So
Yeah.
you know,
Are you still friends?
we haven't talked in a
Is
while.
that
We
so like?
spoke we spoke quite a few years ago, but we haven't spoken much since. They've moved to the States. They do
Oh
their own
my.
stuff. They do their own
Yeah.
gigs. They
Yeah.
play the music that they wanted to play. Um, they've been wanting to play, and so and we get to do our own thing.
Yeah.
And haven't been really. I don't know if they're active on social media. Really, I think Pepe is, but I don't know about JJ. But yeah, I haven't really spoken to them in any capacity for maybe like a couple of, I don't know, maybe like 8, 9 years now. So it hasn't
Oh
been.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sort of like reminds me of UB40 because I don't know if you're aware, but there's like two sections of UB40. One with the singer, which is Ali Campbell. So it's UB40 featuring Ali Campbell as the singer, and then the rest of the band kept the name UB40, and they're
There you
the
go.
like the actual. So yeah, so they're the actual. So the Bloomfields is sort of like got that same sort of like scenario, you know. But anyway, so I'm really glad that you kept the name and that you're still going. And I want to go back to that time where I saw you and the band at 70s Bistro because that's an amazing
Right.
venue.
It
It's
is. Hey, it's gotten better too since you've been there. They put a lot of stuff,
oh
new stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, because whenever I go back home, my brother or either my brother or my friends will take me there, and then I think there's another band that really stuck in my mind because called the Blue Ketchup.
Okay.
Blue
Yeah, I've heard
Ketchup
of
is
them. Yes.
another band that I don't know who the drummer is, but I think they've had several sort of like lineup changes as well. But anyways, yeah. So, um, what's the gigging scene or the gig scene in Manila like at the moment?
Well,
I
it's
heard
pretty
it's
good. It's pretty good actually. Live music here is in high demand. Um, uh, there's a lot of bars that have like just musical equipment ready to go for any band to play. There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of corporate parties and weddings and birthdays, and they all like getting bands, and it's fun. Poblacion also right now in Makati, it's also like alive with band music, so it's pretty good right now actually.
Yeah, and these are like because I know on Facebook I keep seeing so like my friends posting like new wavers. I know you're like different from a different sort like genre altogether or generation altogether, but I see a lot of so like foreign artists or foreign new wave bands going to
Uh-huh.
Manila,
Yeah.
and but it's not just that, but local bands as well getting all these so like I don't know if it's the effect of COVID, but
Yeah.
I think but it's always been like that.
Well, um, it's always been good, the music scene, because Filipinos, we love bands, we love band music, we love live music in general. Um, so it's always been great. But then, of course, when COVID hit, everything was out, and the Philippines took a longer time to recover than the rest of the world. It took us 2 years. We were shut out for 2 years.
Yeah.
So after that, the gig scene came back like it was revenge time. It was crazy. There was so much going on. Everyone I knew, all the musicians I knew, they were working after COVID because there's so much. So,
and
um,
and the
yeah.
audience like the crowd that they saw like all going in and so like supporting everyone.
Yeah, of course. But they came in slowly, slowly, and then they would come in masks, and then now they're back full swing. So it,
Yeah, yeah. And do people still wear masks at gigs or not anymore?
sometimes over here,
Sometimes.
yeah, sometimes they still do.
Yeah. Do you know that gig at 70s Bistro? Another thing that so like I really so like I know I always say it gets stuck in my mind, but I always remember Louis Poco. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's like a
Basis.
yeah, the bass player. Um, I remember him because I think that year before I went to the Philippines, I saw a documentary about Dr. Feelgood. I don't know if
Okay.
it's Dr. Feelgood, and then I saw the Bloomfields, and I remember saying to Louis, I don't know if he remembers this, but I remember saying to him, "Do you know, you remind me so Wilco Johnson." The way he stares at the crowd and the way he moves, I was like, that was so insane.
Knowing Louis, that's probably subconsciously coming out from him. He probably saw all that.
Yeah, I don't know whether he actually saw like some who's this person? Tell me. I don't know whether he knows Wilco Johnson or not,
You
but
well, next year when you come back, you better come and watch us. All right.
I will. Definitely, I will do. But so you're all LaSalle High School
Yeah.
student
Yeah.
graduates. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
LaSalle Green. Yes.
and like all members of the band, or like so
Yeah. Well.
it must have been so like really good doing campus because I remember in the 80s there's quite a lot of sort of like campus stores,
Oh
like
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Back in the day, we did a lot of like school fairs, school sort of shows where, especially for all girls schools, because we were from all boys schools, and so we
yeah,
would try to get into the all girls schools, school fairs, because they love hiring bands, they love getting bands to play for their show. So we would audition for every one of them, Poveda, Assumption, Saint Paul, all the schools, and that's sort of how we got around in high school, and
yeah.
people knew about us and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, which reminds me, because when you said that you go to like all girls school and stuff, that's a cosmopolitan interview that you did. I mean, I know when I was like
like that.
research, researching,
I don't even
some
remember what I said. What did I say?
I know this was like a long time ago now, but there's a cosmopolitan interview that I was reading it last night, the night
Okay,
before, and
okay.
there was one question. It says, "Are you single?" And the answer was, when it comes to marketing and marketing for marketing purposes and during concerts, everyone is single.
See, because that's what they told me back in the day. When they that's what they would tell you, right? So I just said it out loud.
Well, that's actually quite funny because Street Boys, some of the members of Street Boys are actually living here in the UK. And
Okay.
a few years ago, I used to own a Filipino shop, and I used to sort of like hold events and do like parties for the Filipinos. And I used to hire the Street Boys to sort of like come and perform for
That's
us
cool.
for the
Okay.
Filipino community. I remember one of them sort of like saying to me that don't say that we're married and don't say that we have children. I think it was during a Father's Day event. So
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that sort of style of, or however you want to call it, that sort of culture is, I think, is a remnant of its time back in the day, because that's how people wanted you to be as a celebrity. Like, hey, don't share your personal life. Don't tell them who you're dating or whatever.
yeah,
And back in the day, I got a fair bit amount of that. Um, I was told not to say if I had a girlfriend or not, and I think that's completely changed now, because people
yeah,
really want to know what's really going on in your life. And I think, you know, I think in some ways it's better that way, that like people
yeah.
know what's going on in your life. And yeah.
Because I don't. I mean, when he told that to me, I was all like thinking, "What's that about?" I mean, why would you? Why would you so like? say that you're single? Is that to sort of like gain more audience or most like make yourself accessible to everyone or
I
something?
don't know. I don't know. It's just I've always found it to be a little weird that they would ask me to say that no, I'm single when I wasn't.
But that's changed now. So everyone, especially in social media,
Yeah,
I mean,
for
yeah,
sure. That's a good thing, I
yeah.
think.
But it must have been really difficult for so like your partners, so like having to say that no, I'm single and stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean we didn't have it as bad as like some of as the celebrities that are in the Philippines, like the
Yeah,
love teams, the infamous love teams. Two celebrities that aren't actually in love with each other, but they're being forced to play up this love team because they're doing a show together. So
yeah.
those guys got it worse for sure.
Well, I'm glad that it doesn't. Well, maybe it still does, but not as much as before. So, but
Yeah,
yeah. Well, going back to the Bloomfields, I also found out that you've actually released 4 albums altogether.
yeah.
You were mentioning earlier that you did a single launch last night or
Yesterday, yeah, last
yesterday.
night.
Yeah. So is this like single on physical format, like vinyl or CD
Well,
single? What?
not yet. It's out on Spotify. It's out on Apple Music and stuff. But we're not making a physical until we release all the singles one at a time.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and what about the 4 albums that you've released? Are they also like on like CDs or vinyl
yeah,
or
yeah.
they?
If you can find the CDs, there's still CDs, but most of them are also on digital now. They're all digital. They're all on Spotify. They're all on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah,
But if
and
you really want a physical copy, I'm sure there's a way to find it in EMI or something because the first two albums were with EMI.
yeah. Another thing that I've noticed that they don't seem to have like merch store when you do gigs at the 70s, like the 70s bistro. Like, do
What do you
you
mean,
have?
like band merchandise?
Yeah, yeah.
We used to do that. I don't know what was going on when you were there in the 70s, but sometimes we would have merch, but most of the time we don't. We just come and play. We just like to play music. That's it.
Right. So if anyone wants a copy of your CDs, you'll just have to sort of like go to secondhand shops, or is there like a company that they could ask, or maybe from the band or something?
CDs?
Yeah.
Oof. I don't even know where to buy CDs anymore. I honestly don't know because like whenever someone asks me, hey, I want to listen to your music, what can I do? I point them to our YouTube, I point them to our Spotify.
What
Um,
about Bandcamp? Do you have a Bandcamp like account? No. Is
a
that not
Bandcamp?
Bandcamp? Yeah. Is that something that, or maybe not? No.
No, no, we don't have one. We
Oh, right.
everything we do is on YouTube.
Yeah. And these are all like original material. All the albums except for maybe the first one. Is that right? The first
Yeah,
one
yeah,
like cover
yeah.
version.
No, actually, it was the first and second one. Those were covers. Those were cover albums. The third and the fourth ones, those were all original. And now we're coming up with more originals.
Yeah, yeah. And is that am I right in thinking that you're actually like the main like singer songwriter of the band?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
I know I said that I'm not gonna ask about like technical things, but when you write a song, do you already have like the drum part of it, or
Oh
what?
yeah, yeah. Like I need to be able to play it and sing it at the same time. Otherwise, it doesn't work for us because I'm gonna have to do it like live. So
Yeah.
when I write a song, um, I'm thinking about it rhythmically first, before melodically, before lyrically. So I'm trying to think of it first rhythmically, if that makes any sense.
Oh wow. So it's a different way of sort of like writing music from say well, I don't want to say regular, but just singer songwriter who plays the guitar.
I,
Would you
I
say
guess
it's yeah?
how does a singer songwriter do play a I mean, how do they write from a guitar anyway? How different is it from what
From
I do?
just the drum
They're
parts?
looking for that groove, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And then they go with it. And of course, I figure out the chords later on. But to me, when I write a song, it has to be something that's fun for me to play, fun for me to play live, and fun for me to sing over and over again. So
yeah. It's something like I find that a bit so like unique in a way because I mean I know that Bill what's his name, Phil Collins, he's a singer, he's a songwriter, and he plays drums and everything, um but it's like normally it's the guitarist or maybe pianist who will sort of like do the songs and write it, but for a
yeah.
drummer to sort of like do everything.
Hey, my my hero growing up as a drummer is Gene Krupa, and he basically is the band, and he was like the main focus of his band. He had a big band too. Like it was like they had a horn section and everything, but
Yeah,
like he was the center of it all. He was everything they were doing was sort of revolving around what he was doing, and he was sort of directing the pace and everything like that. He was controlling the mood
yeah, yeah,
just with his playing. So that's when I realized that as a drummer, like I sort of took that as like, okay, I can do that, and if I add the singing to it, then I'm really in control of everything now. So I'm singing. I'm like the bottom end and the top end at the same time. So
yeah.
every right but like I
And the other
wasn't
one, oh sorry, yeah, go ahead.
because originally I wasn't the singer. I wasn't the main vocalist of our band. And it takes us back to the Lozanos, right? Like we were talking about that.
Yeah.
They used to be the main vocalists. But when they left, I had to step up and learn how to sing all their songs. And that sort of became what I do.
All right. And did any of the other band members sort of like feel, oh, I want to do the singing, or you just sort of
No,
like took that
no.
responsibility?
Well, in our band, um, it's whoever wants to do it. Whoever you can do it. If you want to do it, go ahead, do it. And
Yeah,
I was the one who ended up wanting to do it the most, I guess.
that's really good. I mean, it's one of the things that's really striking about your band is that you're the main singer. And
Yeah,
also
yeah. It's
so you're not
unusual.
just sort of like behind. You're not just like behind playing the drums behind the other band members. You're actually at the
Right.
front as well. So like, um, yeah. So what's next for? Oh no, you said that you released a single last night. Um,
Yeah.
what's the next? Do you have other gigs planned for the rest of the year
Oh,
or
yeah, we
recorded?
do. We do. We got a bunch of gigs coming up. Um, uh, a bunch of bar gigs as well, and obviously there's like private gigs that you can't really like. I can't really invite people to, but the
No, yeah.
ones, the private, the public ones, there's a lot of bar gigs we've had lined up this year because
Yeah.
we're launching all these songs, and it isn't just going to be one song. It's going to be a bunch of different songs, and we're in the mood to sort of write and record and release new music right now. We get into those cycles, but this is where we're at in the cycle right now.
Yeah, this is so like your most creative or so like most productive
Yeah, yeah,
time.
we're very creative right now.
Yeah. And what's the audience? Because I know when I saw you, it must be the Beatles night that time because
Yes, it
you
must have
all
been.
played covers. You didn't play your own original material
No,
then.
that was a special Beatles night concert. So we have that twice a year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the one time you were there was we had Cookie Chua. She that was the only time she was there too. So that was fun. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what's the audience like? Do you get a lot of like half male, half female girls, or young girls, young boys, or what's the general sort like audience, the Bloomfields audience like?
Right now, we get a bunch of like it's a mix, really. It's a mix of people who used to listen to OPM, who or still do like to listen to OPM, and I find that their age ranges somewhere around like late 30s to 40s and upwards, because the corporate gigs that we get, those are like the birthday parties and the weddings and stuff,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of like older guys too. So yeah,
Because you do play a lot of like 60s music, the
yeah,
Beatles, and like you said, adventures and adventures.
yeah.
But
Give me a
you,
second. Give me a second.
oh, sorry.
Sorry, so sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh no, that's fine. I should have actually reminded you next
Technical
time.
difficulties.
So, like,
Technical
yeah,
difficulties. Okay.
that's,
Sorry, I'm back.
no, no, that's fine. So, are we okay now? So, like,
Yeah, we're good. We're
um,
good.
yeah. So, do you also do? Because me personally, and also I know that a lot of my friends are like from the 80s, like
Yeah.
new waves and stuff. Do you do new wave songs?
Not so much, but
No.
we listen to it, but we don't do it so much because a lot of there are a lot of good bands out here that do new wave though. If you're into that stuff, there's a lot of really great bands.
Yeah.
Orange and Lemons, they do really like they do new wave like no one else does. Like they're
Yeah.
really good, and
Well,
yeah, you can catch them at a good. Yeah.
what about 90s? So, like, do you do that
Oh
as well?
yeah.
So, what's the repertoire? Are they mainly original music from you and then the 60s things?
Well, our
Or,
repertoire. Well, we range from we do a lot of Beatles songs, and recently we've been adding more '90s stuff. We've been doing a bunch of Oasis,
oh, wow.
and yeah, love
Oh,
Oasis.
that's
Like
brilliant. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Oh, that's
uh,
brilliant. Yeah.
yeah, and we're doing it's just it's it. We have a mix of really have a big variety of music, but our main music really is still Beatles and
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but our main our influence for our original is Britpop. So
Oh, that's amazing. That is so good. But is it a conscious decision to do Beatles and the Monkeys and all of
yeah,
that?
I mean it's a conscious decision because it's what we really like to listen to. So we end up doing that.
Right. Well, another thing I would like to ask you. So when you're not drumming, when you're not doing these gigs and everything, what keep you what keeps you busy? Do you have like any other job or any other things that you do?
No, I this is my full-time job actually. I've been investing the money that I get. I would like I just bought like property, but that's about it. I still do this full time because it takes a lot of time, takes up a lot of our time, and
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, it's been great since it started. Really, it's
Because you've been doing
I
it since
never
you
had to get I never had to get like an office job because
yeah.
our lead guitarist tried doing that. He had an office job while doing this, and there was no way. There was just no way you could do it. Like you couldn't wake up every day at like 6 a.m. and elbow your way through the train and then play the gig at night and then do it again the next day. So there's no way. But like
And
the gigs are fine. The gigs are doing fine. So we're just doing that.
yeah. Well, more power to the Bloomfields. I really hope that you get more so like gigs out there and do big things and release all your albums on vinyl hopefully because there have been quite a lot of so like Filipino bands releasing their material on vinyl. Have you not
Vinyl,
had
yeah,
any
it's a
offer?
huge thing now.
Yeah, yeah. Have you not
We're
any? for yours?
We're going. That's the plan actually for the next album. So like I said, we're going to be releasing um singles, but eventually we'll release it as an album sometime mid next year. And the plan is to go vinyl.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
I'm
really good.
excited. I'm super excited about that actually because like
Yeah,
this is our first vinyl. So
because it's always nice to have this physical, so like copy of music. I mean, it's good. All this Spotify and all these are like downloads and things. That's fine, but it's always nice to have it because you can't get a Spotify song signed. You've got. I mean, people like me,
okay,
like fans like me, I like things signed. So,
okay, we'll make some cassettes then.
yeah, yeah, I like cassettes as well. Cassette
Yeah, we'll
CDs
commission
and
some cassettes.
but well, talking about fans, how are you with fans? Do you I mean, do you mind them so like coming up to you asking for photos and things like
No, of
that?
course not. I mean, it's okay. It doesn't bother me that much, or it's great actually. It still feels great when people recognize me because it's it doesn't happen very often, right? But like when it does, it's still cool. It still warms my heart, and
Oh,
it's nice to be appreciated, you know. So
oh, yeah.
I am grateful for them.
I think sometimes the fans are so like wary or maybe worried that maybe the band would say no, because it is quite tiring. I have seen so like people, it's not easy to do shows like live shows night after night after night. So you do get tired, and you do understand that you after the show you just want to relax and you don't want people so like bothering you asking for signatures, asking for photographs.
Uh, yeah, well, it's part of it. It's all part of it. It's it's that's I see that as sort of like just like enjoy the moment because you didn't work hard for that. You did play. That's what you worked hard for. You played all
Yeah.
that stuff for the people. And you gave your best performance so that these people over here can enjoy it. And them wanting to take a picture and get an autograph, that's them sort of saying thank you. And so I appreciate that. I really like that.
Well, do
So
you get recognized when you go out, when you even when you're not playing, like your day-to-day things? Do you get recognized by people?
on occasion, on a rare blue moon, it does happen. That's good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we won't talk about the Bloomfields now. There's another thing that I saw on Wikipedia, something that the band is really involved in called Senyas Kamai
Oh
for
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
hearing
Louis.
impaired.
That Louis thing. That Louis, our bassist, that's his thing. He's been at that for quite some time now, since we were in college. So that's his advocacy, and he sort of attached it to the Bloomfields. And yeah.
Yeah. So, do you like do gigs or uh I don't know what do you what's your involvement to this? So like, is it an organization or something, Sanyas Kamai or
Yeah, it's for deaf for the deaf,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it yeah, and Louis is actually the one who's always involved, but he's gotten us to play for events for them before for fundraising events and stuff, and we would play for them.
Oh, okay. Because I was reading about it. It's actually when I was a kid, SPED is actually like something that for is like you if you're let's say you're so like quite intelligent and than the average. So I don't want to say average, but you're quite intelligent. They'll put you in a SPED class, which is like for fast learners and things like that. But I
Okay.
think nowadays SPED has a different meaning because it's like if you're in a SPED class, it's for like like hearing impaired or maybe visually impaired, so it's taken a different turn, I think. So,
I think
but
so. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So these ones for Senyas Kamai, these are like special education children or special, yeah, SPED
Yeah.
classes you do. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Louis knows how to do the sign languages and stuff. So he learned all of that. He was really active in that, and he would just pull us in, and get us to play for the fundraising and the charity events.
Yeah. Well, talking about like hearing things, do you use like plugs when you play the drums? Because because I
Working
think
what?
that, do you use like earplugs or when you play the drums? Because I think one of the
No,
you don't.
no, I can't because I sing, so I need to hear my voice coming out of the monitors.
Because I think tinnitus is one of the like things that happen to most drummers. Is like because they've been playing the drums and they've been bashing in all this loud music that wearing earplugs will actually protect them and help them. So like
Well, it's too late now.
yeah,
Oh,
you
now you
don't.
tell me.
Yeah, I know. But, right. Well, I've still got a few more questions, like regular questions that I ask the guests on the show. Um, do you twirl when you play the drums?
Like a baton?
Yeah, like do some kind of tricks, or maybe throw sticks in the air.
I just do this thing like once in
Yeah,
a while,
but
and
you
then
don't
drop the
normally.
stick. No, not really. It's not. It's like I get it. I get it. Like people like to do it, and there's nothing like. It's just not a move that I practice a lot, but I do it sometimes. Like I like when I'm showboating. It just happens.
But it's not something that we would do occasionally, like normal, regularly, or I should say,
No, no, not yet. I haven't like gone full baton twirling yet, but um, it's just not a focus for me.
yeah.
Yeah, but like it's fun to do once in a while.
I think it is. I think it is as well. I mean, I always, whenever I go to gigs, I always make sure that I stand where I could see the drummer properly. You know,
You and I both.
and I always so like look at them, and every time they do, like if there's a drummer that does that, I just like, oh my god, that's so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And sometimes there's like a gap. Like there's this song and there's like a gap in the song, and then they're sort of like waiting for something, so they'll twirl, and then
yeah,
boom, and then start.
yeah. I guess it's better. I guess it beats just sitting there awkwardly doing nothing, right?
Well,
Just to pass the time.
my tech support just came on to say that sound and vision a-okay. He normally sort of like says that at the beginning, but he was out and he just came back and he said that it's sound and vision a-okay. So that's brilliant. So
Brilliant.
so yeah. So the next thing is what about heroes? You mentioned Gene Krupa as
Mm-hmm.
your like favorite, or you've learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Any other drumming heroes?
Yeah, Gene Krupa is the big one. Obviously Ringo. Uh, Obviously, I love how Ringo like sort of revolutionized that lazy left hand sort of drumming that makes it sound so uniquely Beatles. I suspect that every Britpop drummer listens to Ringo and is trying to emulate his style and is trying to elevate his style. Um, and that's what I love about it. And then also one of my heroes growing up when I was a kid, like when I was drumming starting out, was Travis Barker
Oh
because he was
wow,
on he was on TV a lot.
yeah.
Blink 182.
Blink 182.
Blink 182 was so good, and it was just I don't know the way he does his drum fills, man. It just drives me wild. When I was a kid, it was just like it was just such an adrenaline rush. The adrenaline rush watching that guy play
Yeah,
when I was a kid.
yeah.
But obviously, like I started getting into like from the '60s, and I really liked Keith Moon. The energy that
Oh,
he has, it's just insane. Who else? Buddy Rich, obviously, like that guy's like probably the best drummer ever.
mm.
in a technical sense. Um, but like, yeah, those are the kind of drummers I really like. The ones that like sort of just stood out. Levon Helm, Levon Helm
Oh, right.
too.
Okay.
Sings,
Yeah.
sings,
Yeah.
from the band, right? Like he sings and plays the drums, and I love how he keeps it in the pocket and keeps it smooth. Like, yeah, I guess those are my top
Yeah.
five.
That's fascinating because these are like classic, like drumming
Yeah,
heroes. And
yeah.
I I mean I get that from people also like older than yourself, but I suppose if you're a drummer, you really look up to all these. So like the older drummers or the older generation, like Keith Moon and Gene Krupa and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
because when you mentioned Ringo, I was gonna also like ask, what do you say to people whenever they say he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles?
That was first of all, that was just John being cheeky. Um, it's not actually true because in Dear Prudence, they I think the story goes that when they were recording Dear Prudence, Paul and Ringo had an argument, and Ringo had to walk out, and so Paul did the drumming parts, and then towards at some point later they made up, it, and Ringo came in and continued the song.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And when you listen to that song, you can very clearly hear which part is Ringo and which part is Paul. Because it's very clear that with Paul, he was just filling it in. He was just filling the spaces in, uh, in the most general way. But when
yeah,
Ringo comes in, he does this fantastic drum solo at the end of it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so like he had some chops. He had some really great chops. It's just it's just never was the standard way, which was what I like, you know.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
because
he was never a standard drummer.
yeah. When I was so like I mentioned that I went to see the Soup Dragons because they're touring at the moment. I'm so like watching every single gig. I'm gonna go to every single gig that they do. But we were talking about that, about the Beatles. Oh no, not really. It was all like favorite drummers. So someone said Ringo Starr, of course. But then one of the drummers, his name is Stuart Kidd. He's a drummer, but he plays guitar at the moment for the Soup Dragons. He said that Paul McCartney is a brilliant drummer,
He
and
is. Paul
yeah,
McCartney is.
maybe that's where it came from. Maybe that's what so like this thing that he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles.
No, it came from John being cheeky because there was an interview when they were young, and there was an interview that came out and asked, "Do you think Ringo Starr is the best drummer in the world?" And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
and John said he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles.
Well, my tech support said that. Wow, that's fascinating about Dear Prudence because he didn't obviously didn't know. I don't know that. I don't know about that either. So that's
You can tell where he comes in. You can really tell when he comes in.
oh wow. Well, I'll give it a listen after this. So yeah, um, so you've been drumming a long time. I mean, you're still very young, but you've been drumming since you were 10. Um,
Yeah.
and that's like really a long time. But have you ever had any accidents, or I call it like a drumming disaster?
Well, I've busted my fingers a lot of times. Oh, the worst thing that happened, right, was I poked my eye with a drumstick
Oh my god!
as I'm playing. This,
Oh,
the
sorry.
tip of the drumstick goes into my eyelid for some reason under it, and then it damaged my I don't know what it damaged something in my eye, and I couldn't open my eyes, both eyes, because it hurt. For some reason, it hurts to open the other one too, and I couldn't open my eyes for 2 weeks. So I had to play like with my eyes closed for those 2 weeks for all those gigs, and we had a lot of gigs then for those 2 weeks, and we I had to do all of them blind, and I had a guy like walking me into the drum set and stuff, and just so
No
that I
way.
could play. Yeah, it was a dumb thing. I don't know how it happened. I was so hyperactive back in the day. So when I would play.
When was this? When did that happen?
2009 or something. I don't know. Like it was a
Oh
long
my
time
god!
ago. Yeah.
And you still carried on? You
Oh
actually
yeah.
still carried on and did the gigs even with your eyes closed and things?
Yeah, yeah. I had to. I had to. I mean, I could. I knew I could. I mean, I could open my eyes a little bit, but that's about it. Like the injury was just too like it was too painful. So like
Oh my god, well, that's talent, dedication and talent. That's absolutely amazing.
yeah, yeah. Out of necessity to
Yeah,
because of because of the the high IQ move that I pulled.
but it never, it only happened once, never happened again. And were you
Thankfully, yeah.
careful
Did I
not to
ever
hit
poke
you?
my eye again with a drumstick? No, it never happened again. I hope not. I hope it doesn't because it's horrible.
So, I suppose it could be one of you. So, like, well, my next question is advice to aspiring drummers. I suppose I could say not to poke you with.
Try not to poke your eye out with like not on the first gig at least. You know,
Well, yeah, okay. What would be your advice to aspiring drummers? Sorry, I just can't imagine someone like poking.
you
Sorry. Yeah,
went
yeah.
so
So, what would be
aspiring
your
drummers.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I
if anyone
know.
wants to do the same thing, be a drummer like yourself.
To aspiring drummers, I would say like just never let go of the drums because like um I took lessons at 10, 11 years old, but after that, I actually stopped playing for a long time. I stopped playing for years and years. But the rhythm is always in my head. It's always going. I can hear rudiments. I can hear stuff that I'm gonna do. I still feel it. I still feel that movement in my body, and it never left me. And so when I picked up the drums again, it was still there. And it's like I know that drummers we don't get to play our instrument a lot because you need a lot of space and you need the time to make that to make noise and stuff. It's not like a guitar where you can sleep next to it. And so um if you're a drummer, just keep those beats and those rhythms in your head and keep it going, and you'll never lose them. You'll never lose it even if you're not
Yeah,
really physically on your kit. Just always
yeah.
don't lose that spirit of it.
Well, which reminds me, I have to ask you this: do you think uh, a drummer is naturally gifted? I mean, I know there are drumming lessons that anyone can have drumming lessons and learn how to play the drums. But I always think it has to be in you. You have to be gifted with it to be so
I
like.
think Well, I think that's the case for any instrument, really. If you're gonna come into a band, especially like a small band, like a four-piece band, you have to understand that you're carrying one-fourth of that music. You're carrying all of that on your own. You're not like in an orchestra where there's like 12 of you doing in one section. You are that one section. If you're the bass player, you're that low end. If you're the drummer, you're the beat. And for any instrument, you gotta be as gifted as you can be because that'll help, right? And you gotta give as much as you can give, and give as much as you know. You can only give as much as you've already acquired, the knowledge you acquire. So to be anything really in a band means that you're gonna be a pillar. You're gonna be a table leg to that table, and you're gonna have to be. You have to carry your own weight, and you add something.
Yeah,
And it's I think with drummers it's just a lot more visual. It's just a lot more like sort of because it's a percussive instrument. It's louder. It's the first thing that registers in people when they're listening. But I think every instrument does that too.
yeah, and it's got to be the bond between the drummer and the bass player. I suppose you and Louis, you have this. This is something that I've actually just realized recently, that you've got to have that special bond with the bass. So it's always like the bass player and the drum player, or the drummer that's in a band.
Yeah,
You've got
absolutely.
so
Because
much.
absolutely, the bass is like it's a mix of percussion and like sort of the notes. It provides both rhythm and sort of the notes and the chord structure and the root, sort of that root keynote that the song needs, while also giving rhythm. So it's sort of a mix between me and the guitars. So yeah, it's a really crucial component, almost like a glue to the music, and it's like the meat. If I'm the bone, that's the meat. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a good. That's a good one. Yeah. So, and what would you say to? It's supposed to be Bobby Gillespie who said it, but it's I found out that it's Joe Strummer who said it originally. That a band is only as good as its drummer. What would you say to that?
Agree.
Agree.
Agree. Agree. Yeah, you can't get any better than, like, if you're a good drummer can really elevate a band beyond, like, beyond what it sounds like, without like that special energy that the drums brings. And it's because the drums influences so much of what you do, of how of how a song is going to
The
end up
song, yeah.
sounding, the groove going up against the melody and the chord progression. It's so important. It has its own gravity, and it bends everything around it.
Wow. Well, that's all I've got. All the questions that I wanted to ask you. Thank you so much, Rocky, for
Thank
saying
you so
yes to
much.
our
This is fun.
cinema. And I
Yeah.
am really looking forward to going back home, hopefully next year, and
Yo, let
hopefully
me know.
the
Let me know.
yeah, hopefully the Bloomfields will be playing when I'm there. So I'll definitely go and see you. So if you want to sort of like promote anything to our Filipino friends, if you have gigs and any other releases that you want to say before you go.
Okay. Well, to all our Filipino friends out there, and to anyone who's interested in great music, great Filipino music, please come support our band. We're releasing a bunch of singles. We already released a single yesterday. It's out on Spotify. Just look for the Bloomfields, and it's out there. And go to our go to our social media, Bloomfields, on Facebook and on Instagram, just for gig schedules, because we're going to be playing a lot of public gigs this month and next month. So
That's
yeah.
brilliant. And this singles, how many will there be in a series? Is it like a series of sort of like single
Yeah,
releases?
it's gonna be like we're releasing it once every quarter, I guess.
Oh,
And by the time I'm hoping by May we're gonna have a full on album or an EP or something, and
brilliant.
we'll be releasing our LP then. So
And it's on vinyl. It's going to be on vinyl. So
yeah,
really
it's gonna be on
exciting.
vinyl. I know, right?
That's
It's our first vinyl. It's our first
I
vinyl.
know that is so that's really exciting for every record collectors out there. So well, thank you so much, Rocky. And I wish you all the best. I wish the
Thank you,
Bloomfields all
Anna.
the best because you really are a great band. And
Thank you so
I
much.
hope yeah, I hope you get like international recognition as well because it would be
Hey,
great. So
hope so too.
yeah, if there's any promoter out there, because sometimes they take or they bring some Filipino bands or Filipino artists here in the UK. It would be nice to have you come over here as well. So
We'd
we'll
love to
see.
go. Never
Yeah,
been there.
yeah. Well, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and see you
Go
hopefully next year. Bye. 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 See ya. Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live. That's so good. I mean, if you're in the Philippines right now, if you're in Manila or maybe in, like Quezon City or whatever, go and see the Bloomfields. What I'm gonna do is on the Astro Drummer page, I'm gonna include their Facebook page so you can sort of like give it a like and follow and see where they're gonna be playing. And yeah, so thank you so much, Rocky, and thank you everyone for joining us live. Next week is going to be our 100th episode, which I'm really excited about because it's quite a milestone to have. So, like, episode 100, and it's going to be so good because my guest, which has been confirmed, is going to be my first ever drummer crush. He's going to be on the show next week. So please do keep an eye out for the guest announcement post for that. And I have to really go soon because I'm going to go to see the Soup Dragons again in Leeds. And if you're in or around Leeds, buy a ticket and go and see the Soup Dragons because they're absolutely amazing. Guaranteed you'll enjoy the show tonight. So that's it, everyone. Thank you so much. As always, love music, love life, love, love, love drummers. And I'll see you all again next week. Bye for now. Bye. Bye.